Hey everybody, Charles Calhoun, aka the Shadetree Pro, here at the beautiful Grand Vista Marriott in Orlando, Florida, where I own and operate my teaching business under the Shadetree. Hey, listen, everybody out there, definitely want you all to um, definitely start paying attention because there's definitely going to be some changes coming to the way that I do my videos and talking about this top down because, it's really getting really valuable in essence. And, and some things has happened to where, I have to make some changes, as the saying goes, I got to eat too. And so it's like I said, you all have been following me for the longest. I put out some great content and we know that. And I show you all by example about what it is that I do. And as I say, I'm not going to show you something that I don't do myself. But one of the things, as I said before, is that I built the Shadetree Pro swing system and philosophy, not a method, but a system, an actual system that allows me to be able to fix golf swings and teach golf swings, whether it's from a beginner to somebody that plays. Because regardless if you're a beginner, regardless if you're a tour level player, it doesn't matter. The system is based on what our body tells us to do when we go to move. We know, and one of the most important things that, as I said, you all have heard me talk about this many times before, that my system within it, I build you a routine. And I have had a lot of success with people telling me about, the success of building a routine as you build your system. And I'm not just talking about standing by the whole ball, waiting 2 seconds, do this or whatever. That system is ball location. Number one, setup. Number two, grip. Number three, takeaway. Number four, and number five, swing. And I break this down in a various ways of showing people that when you set up to a golf ball or get ready to go approach it, address it, whatever, the first thing you have to do is to be able to read how your ball is lying, how it lies on the ground. So when you get a good ball location, then you can create your nice setup. And I've got my three body setup, which I talk about in a sense. You can call it your address position, but once you get that three body, then everything falls into place as far as the setup, because it encapsulates that you're setting up the anatomical ends, the head, the hands, and the feet. And then, of course, there's no question about the grip, a great dead fingers grip. And as I told you before, you can interlock, you can overlap, whatever it is, as long as you get that good dead fingers grip on there, because that dead grip is a mighty. And then once you get a grip, once you set up there, then these certain things that I've talked about the takeaway, about getting the club up, I break a lot of these things down, to give you something so you can build your individual feels that's based on the actual action. The action comes first. The origin of the action comes first. And then now left is nothing but you to be able to swing and build your rhythm. So in me, like if I'm looking at an individual that's a beginner, then it's easy for me to, build from there. Now, let's say that you are a good tour player or a good player and you're having some structural issues with your game, ball's not doing that. I really don't need technology. I don't care if it's left, right, this, or whatever, because if something is going too far left or too far right, then it's something within that sequence that's causing it. And because I understand what the first move is, then the beauty of it is there is just the same as there's a first move, there's got to be a second move, and then there's got to be a third move, and there's the reactions that goes on. Whether you want to call that the kinetic chain, what did you want to call it? The Shadetree Pro three body trigger, whatever you call it, whatever you want. You can call a crocodile a lizard. It doesn't matter. Just what works for you in that mindset of call it. But you can't get away what the human body teaches us. No one can get away from that. So I can look even at a tour player. I can see if he's doing too much of this. I can see all of these things, and it goes into a sequence. And that's where, as I built as part of my system, with inside the swing, where I built the 5 phases in a sense to be able to break a swing down and look at it and And that's why it does not take me long to be able to fix a golf swing when I get an opportunity just to sit there and look at it. And I'm still an old schooler. I can look and see if that ball's going right and it's going too much right. I can almost tell you what you're doing without even a conscious thought. A lot of times I could just hear the sound of it and tell you whether you hit it off the heel or hit it off the toe, because all of these things make a distinctive sound. And the key to it is to be able to get you back to hitting it solid, because I am a firm believer that once you get back to hitting the ball solid, and if it's going a little bit left or a little bit right and you're hitting it solid, then it's just a matter, like the old fine-tuned radios, of adjusting, the dead fingers and locking that in. Just like I said, just like the old ping man machine, lock it in there and making the same moves. So I've got various learnings and studies and understanding of how these motions goes into play in every single sequence. And that's why, like in psychology, and that's my background in psychology, is to be able to look at it in block learning and be able to see exactly. Because when you go to a dealership and you go to work on a car, and they're working on a car, and they put it on a diagnostic machine, in a sense, I consider myself a diagnostic machine. When you put it on the machine, it gives you a readout and tells you exactly what's going on with the car, the area, so you'll know if you need to replace this, that, or whatever. Well, that's what I built my brain and my eyes to be able to look at a swing and be able to say, too much of this, too much of that, or whatever it is, and be able to fix it. And that's the whole purpose. Give me just a second, people. For some reason, I keep getting the hiccups. I had to get me a piece of ice, maybe because it's hot out here. But I build a system that allows me to fix faults. And so what I'm going to do, and if you all seen all my Shadetree and all my videos, whatever, and like I said in my membership, I still was pushing some things, and about still getting those movements. I just kind of gave them some little spice on those movements. But this next thing I'm getting ready to do, I'm gonna really break down to you all. I'm gonna offer opportunities for you all to be able to learn through the system and follow it step by step by step. I'm gonna break down that system step by step. I'm gonna have individual videos that's gonna concentrate on the ball location, individual videos that's going to concentrate on ball location, then the setup, individual videos that's going to concentrate on the grip, and then it's going to concentrate on the takeaway. It's going to and then concentrate on the swing. Going to break that down, and then I'm going to be able to talk to you about these things, because look, people, to tell the truth, if you pay attention and you listen and you follow me step by step, there ain't no reason that you absolutely cannot play some decent golf, even first starting out. It's that you got to be able to follow the system. And I've been saying that for years. Follow the system. Get my book and be able to get that good dead fingers grip. As I've mentioned to you all before, there are many people out there who have tried my system and, and said certain things, but like I said, never got the book, don't know what the book is. Some even don't even know what the dead fingers is. And as I said before, that, the reason it's called the dead fingers, it definitely tells you in the book, is that if you figure something out, regardless if somebody may have thought about it, they didn't write the book on it, I did. If you figure something out, you get to call it whatever you want. Somebody else may come along and call it something else, but it doesn't make a difference in here, because I've already signified it as something singular and pointed it out to the world. Hey, you know what's something else funny? People, y'all love this. I got a lot of my a lot of people out there that I've gotten that book, and they're good teachers, and or I don't know if they're good teachers or not. I just know they got names that I've sent that book to. And I'll tell you what, it's funny how they don't respond back to it and just even give me some feedback. So those teachers that I've sent that book to, and those teachers out there that you follow me on that have that book, go ahead and don't be all right with just giving me some feedback and letting people know, because it might even help your lesson. Just because, they might turn around and say, hey, you know what? I bought that book from Shadetree and I like some of the things that he's talked about. That doesn't mean that you can't teach it to them. It's just that's what we do as teachers. Because remember, teachers, don't forget this, teachers. Remember this is that all the information that you're out there teaching, you're teaching it based on what somebody else has said. And it says you didn't write the content. You didn't write what Hogan's book. You didn't write Jim McClain's stuff, all that. You learn. So ain't nothing wrong with learning from the shade tree because that's the whole process of what I'm doing is creating information for teachers to teach. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with this new generation, regardless if all the technology is out there. Technology is never going to replace experience. And then the thing is either you know it or you don't. And when you know it and really know it, then it makes when you go and using your technology, it makes your technology better. It makes it work for you. Because if you're just thinking you're just going to get on technology and it's going to tell you what your swing is, okay, now for an example, you might be coming down too steep or something that, and it might get a reading there. Okay, and all of a sudden you just try to stop coming down steep. Well, how do you do it? Well, you might have 500 different ways as being told to how you do it. Well, what Shadetree does is he shows you exactly what moving parts make that happen and makes that repeat day in and day out. So now whatever number that you want, you're going to be pretty much consistently around that. And that's what's the difference with the Shadetree Pro Swing System and Philosophy. And remember, it is a system. It is not a method. There are methods that I use within this system. And this system is here to teach you to play your best golf. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care what level it is. The movements of the body is the movements of the body. Some people may be able to physically move them a little bit better. Some people may be able to do the one most important thing you need to do to play the golf at the highest level is the ability to concentrate. And that requires discipline to be able to concentrate. And you have to be able to humble yourself and be able to get in that moment. Hey, listen, I'm going to express even more so to you about a lot of the mental aspects approaching this game. I mean, people, there's so much about this game that I can teach you all that I haven't had an opportunity to share. And I'm only getting this opportunity now simply because, I've been busy, like a great writer, you sit down and as I told you all, I got piles of writings that I've wrote and rewrote or whatever. That's why it's very, very hard for me to back down when someone just takes information for something and they don't know the real cause and effect of it. And then they don't challenge me. They're not going to challenge me, but at least express that as if this is the holy grail. And what I'm saying is whatever. And, so I have to stand up for what I know. So the biggest thing is, people, once again, I got to offer you something, and really get this going. Cause I don't think I'm being honest with you. There's no reason with all, and I'm just going to say it as a brother. And speaking as a black teacher in this game of golf, and I'm just going to speak on that side alone. There is no reason with all the black golfers that we have in this world that's playing. There's no reason whatsoever with all this great content I have out there, that there's no reason whatsoever that I should have 3,000 subscribers. And regardless if y'all think I'm advertising the right way, look, I should be able to flip up and trip up just from being on the big break alone or whatever, and have 20 to 30,000. I'm just going to call it just the way that I see it, And so we need to do something to make sure that gets up there, because we got to get these sponsors. We got to get these people, because people, to tell the truth, these sponsors don't know who I am. They don't know the great work that I'm doing. And hey, it's also up to you all too. If y'all think I'm doing great stuff, then it's also up to you all to be able to push to these people and tell them, because guess what? When you all push and say, hey, sign up, get on Shadetree's thing, check Shade, tell your groups, buy Shadetree's book and all that. Now that puts some more extra coin in my pocket, that when you all say, hey, look, you know what, a Shadetree, we definitely like you to come down and do a clinic for us or something of that nature. Now, all of a sudden, I can do that. But I can't just go in my pocket and just pull it out when I'm not getting nothing in return. Come on, this is just business, people. And so when you help me get value, then I give that value back to you. Because as they say, you always got to pay it forward. Because this is a business that we in. I do want to give you all the best information. But like I said, if you want quality, people, we all got to pay for it. and that's just the bottom line to it. So we're trying to make something, and and I'm gonna quit using the word saying we're trying to make something grow. Nah, shade tree. That's why it's called a shade tree, because you can walk under it. It already produces shade. It keeps you cool, and like I said, when you running smooth and cool, then you already in the money. And hey, and I like my people that's been sending me some messages, because don't get me wrong, people, I get some cool messages from some people, especially those who tell me, he's like, look, man, I used to do like this and give my money away. He's like, now I'm walking up to them skins game and I'm handing my hands out because I feel like I'm gonna make a skin or whatever the deal is. You know how that stuff goes, baby. And they always giving that shade tree some love. But we're gonna keep pushing this. And this time, I'm telling you all, people, I've been was in working in education mode. Now, whether y'all call me a salesman or not, because the old saying go, either you're being sold or you doing the selling. And I'm in the sales game. I'm here to sell you on some beautiful stuff that absolutely work. In other words, when you come to my store and you get a product, then you're going to walk out there with some good product. And if the product don't work, then you get your money back, because I ain't in the business of giving people something that they don't want. And that's like the old saying goes, I ain't in the business of keeping a woman that don't want to be kept. That ain't the Shade Tree Pro policy. Our policy is to keep you moving and grooving and doing the best you can to go out and beat those people or whatever that want to know more about Shade Tree Pro. Show them why the Shade Tree Pro is that best teacher. As like I said, when it comes to teaching the top-down swing system philosophy, I'm that guy. Hey, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro, and you know how people do it. People, if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Pay attention to the changes coming. Hey, some people aren't gonna like it or whatever, but like I say, hey, we ain't just flipping and doing some somersaults here. This is a business, and you know how they do it under the business, baby. Always good golfing.